fans, stand by, because you may remember how earlier in the year, the Backchat tape recorder and me swung some tickets and found ourselves winging our way to NEC on the so-called AHA Express experience. Well, the other day, I met up with the boys for the first time and asked Mags, first of all, what he thought about the extravaganza.
We would have been slightly embarrassed about the whole thing if the concert hadn't been good at the end of the day. So we were all a bit nervous because the more you make it into, the more pressure is on you. And we did have a really good time at the Birmingham NEC that time. You know, Birmingham's always been good anyway when we've been there.
When you arrive at the station, though, and you see all that fuss, do you ever think to yourself, Mags, what the hell are you doing this? why don't I get myself an ordinary day job?
I'm not good enough to keep an ordinary day job. I could never do it because I've tried and I failed miserably. So I never sort of, you know, I got to stick to this, I'm afraid. But there are moments when I think, you know, oh no, what am I doing here?
It becomes embarrassing if things look and sound and feel pretentious, but they don't have to. They don't, and again, that day could very well get very pretentious, but it's all in the attitude, how you know. I don't know what it was like for the journalists because there were so many of them, and they had to fight for something that they might not even want. They were just there on, working for their whoever sent them out.
Like there are lots of people being a bit grumpy and saying, "Who the hell do AHA think they are?" So do you ever realise that it's a really delicate balance between?
Yeah, I think invariably you piss certain people off all the time. I think we can't go through our career without making a lot of friends and a lot of enemies, you know, in the nicest possible way. Simply because it's hardly possible to accommodate everybody at every point in time.
Those comments never mean anything because the same people that say that or make that comment are the ones who praise you once you're successful or prove that what they started off slagging off, they have a totally different attitude to it because it turned out to be a success in the end anyway. And then they go with the wind, they really do. And you can never listen to that.
The bottom line is that everybody was on that train. Must have had a good time because they got free meals, free drinks, and a free ride up to Birmingham. So I can't see how they had a bad time.
A lot of people, I think, were hoping that you'd fall flat on your face on the last two. You know, like, oh, AHA have been away for ages and the fans will have forgotten them. You were proved wrong, weren't you?
Well, I mean, the people who came to the concert seemed to be just as appreciative of what we were doing as the last time. I mean, to us, the last tour was more successful, a lot more successful than the first one, because the first one we were more or less, we were less happy with what we were doing, I think. So it seems to be going the right way, you know.
Do you ever get fed up? Because Morton's just had we've just had a phone call here, and they have to speak to Morton. Do you ever get fed up? Right.
I think it's a natural thing with every group that the sort of lead vocalist will have. That'll be the face they will attach when they want to speak to one of them. They'll immediately just say Morton. We've always seen ourselves as a very democratic trio. I think people want to see all sides of the high anyway. You know.
Is there more pressure on you, Morton, than the other members of the band?
Like Mag said, yes. When it comes to this, it is. But I think the pressure is evenly sort of carried on the three of us because we have pressures on different things. And I get that pressure more than two others, yes. But then again, they have other things to carry that I may not have to think so much about. So all in all, I think it's quite evenly spread out. You know.
Why do you do all the talking on stage?
Look at our repertoire. It's constant vocal flexing, you know, from the beginning to the end. And I need that little breath between each song.
It started out naturally. We just sort of fell into different roles when we came on stage, and it sort of just worked out from there. It's just very loosely we've just kind of slotted into what we feel comfortable with on stage. I think certainly in regard to Paul, I feel a lot more comfortable talking to a lot of people than Paul did.
Does technology play a part when you're touring? Because there's so much new stuff coming on the market now. Do you personally have to consider all the gadgets and effects and lighting and recording and sound equipment?
Most bands use these things to keep a show. But for us, it was just more exciting that if anything went wrong, it really went wrong, and we had to improvise from there. And sometimes that happens. I mean, we've been to shows where suddenly all the lights go out in the audience, you can't hear anything except your microphone or whatever, and you just got to start singing and get people to sing with you till the lights come back on, something like that. It's more fun that way. It's less predictable.
We feel basically that if we can't entertain people with just a guitar and a piano and me singing, or all three of us singing, then we haven't really got where we want to be,
If you had people who are incredibly talented, like, for instance, Michael Jackson, who uses a lot of technology, who does what he does, or Prince, certainly, then if you use it the right way, and I'm not opposed to any of that, and I think people are very much entertained by all that, the spectacle of it. I just think that it's got to come natural to you, and it doesn't really come natural to us, so it's hard for us to learn to choreograph our shows or to do these things.
Do you practice as you wiggle in front of the mirror?
Listen, I never think about that. I never did. It's just there. I'm glad it's not 25 years ago where I would be banned, probably.
It's the anniversary of Elvis's death today, by the way. Did you like Elvis Presley?
Love him.
What's your favourite song?
You're Always on My Mind is a big favourite. In the Ghetto. Yeah, brilliant. All those Liebesstoller things.
Are you having summer holidays?
We just come back from holiday, actually.
What, you all went together?
No, we all went separate ways. It's nice because when we get some time off, I think we all feel the need to see the family and friends.
So you don't all live together?
Oh yes, we do.
Well, we do most of the time because we tour all the time. And so far, we've done that. We're going to take a good break from that now.
Are you always going to live in London?
No.
It's pretty hard to say always. We have lived there on and off for the last 5 years.
I have a flat here, and it's very good for work or for a little break every now and then, but I cannot stand the pollution here. It makes me ill.
We're exporting most of it to Norway, I understand, in the form of acid rain.
Well, we're not living in Norway either.
I know. I'm actually talking in general, any city. I don't like... I can't live like that. It's getting worse, and I can feel it. It gets me.
Now, let's talk about Touchy, because we just watched the video. It's like a Cecil B. DeMille movie. Whose idea was all the synchronised swimming then? She said doing the action.
Actually, Kevin Maloney, the guy we sort of commissioned to do it, came up with this idea, and I think we gave him a pretty hard time because we can be very difficult to work with. But I think we're certainly very happy with the way it came out, and the changes made on the way, I think, was for the better, and I think everybody's happy with the result. We thought maybe Touchy would be a good first single, but we thought about it, and we had been away for a while, and we felt somehow that we wanted to present something not as... Because Touchy is a more obvious record, and for us it was just more of a thrill to come with something as offbeat as Stay on These Roads as the sort of first in the album. It sort of told people how I'd been working and they've been doing something. They haven't just been trying to copy old records of their own. And we felt sort of proud about that, I suppose. It's probably one of the more danceable records we've had. For me, I'm just always sort of connected with melody. Music for me is always melodic. So I suppose, I'm not terribly hip that way. Although, we do try, don't you see it on the Touchy video? Paul and I trying to do this rapping thing, and it's failing miserably.
You just do your own thing, then?
Well, we always did, and rapping is... when it comes natural, we'll do it, but not before that.